Hey guys, I'm Sumant Raj. I work as a software developer in Geeky Ants, and today I'm going to talk about a game I built called Snakes and Ladders. So let's start. Firstly, what's this game is about? Snakes and Ladder game is an ancient Indian board game. The object of the game is to navigate one's game pace according to die rolls from the start, that is a bottom square, to finish top square, helped or hindered by ladders and snakes, respectively. So basically, ladders is a good thing which will move you up the board, and snakes are evil things which will throw you down the board. Pretty philosophical. Another version which I built is this. You can see a board here, and you can have more than two players in this. In this version, I just have two players, red and orange, but you can have more than two players. Red lines are snakes here, and gray lines are ladders here. If you get one initially from the dice roll, then only your token can start the game. So let me just play the game for you. Got two for red, four for orange. Okay, I think this will, yeah. So I got one. So this my red token got one up the board. Now let me play some more so that you can see. Okay, I will stop here. Now the link of of this game is in the description. You can go ahead and play. Now I made this game on Flutter Web. So why Flutter Web? Firstly, why it's web? Because as it is more accessible to anyone. Now why Flutter Web is basically Flutter Web is a great framework for building apps on whichever platform you want. It got some great widget from which you can build whatever you want, and it's an easy development process and pretty easy and pretty fast. Now previously I built some games on Flutter only, but as you can see here, now these games are for mobile phones. I was never able to officially launch it or release or gave any APK to anyone, because like it's not a easy process to publish a game. So this time around, I thought why not make use of Flutter Web to build this one and make it more accessible to anyone. In these mobile games, I used some Flutter engines, some Flutter game engines, and but this time on web I just used simple widgets to build all the things, and I haven't used any assets because I didn't have any. So if you are a designer who wants to help me, ping me. Now I'm not gonna bore you with all the coding and stuff. You can check that out on GitHub. It's in the description. Give me a star if you do. So let's talk about how everything is connected and built. Okay, so let me show you this is the development process. This is the code editor, and this will be my terminal and output. Basically, so basically, what happens here is this is the game page. So there, this game page, as you can see, we should have a 10 by 10 grid. So basically, if you have a board, then that board is consist of 10 by 10 grid system. So this board, as you can see, has a grid view dot builder which have 100 items, which are these. Now this grid view have like each and every piece here, as you can see, like one, two, three, everything is a card here. So this is the card, and this is just the stuff, some stuff for coloring and arranging the board. So and this so base okay, so this was the board, and this was the token or goti, which you call in Indian language. So and this is the dice. So first let me show you how I made the dice. Now the dice is simple. Dice renders these assets randomly. Basically, if you want to know about this dice roll, then dice renders asset randomly, and whichever comes after 6 tries will be our final values. So as you can see, these are the assets: dice 1 or dice 2 or dice 3 or anything like. So these are all the dice images. Now what I do here is basically I call this function upload dice on tap of these images, and what it does is basically it goes into a for loop. uh, After every 6 try, as dice is re-rendering again and again every for 6 times. So first it goes to 0, and then it holds for 300 milliseconds, and then it generates a dice at random, like whichever will come. As you can see here, whichever comes at randomly at dice 1, it goes to dice 1 count, and this dice 1 count goes to here C, and this generates a random image. So whichever assets, whichever dice image come, that will be our value. So if the random number generated here is 3, then the third this one will come, dice 3 will come, and the value which will be generated will be 3. So that's it. No, nothing more, nothing less. Simple. So whatever the value we get, we store it in this dice value. So what I do here is, as you can see here, we have two section here and here. Now this is the first player dice, and this will be our second player's dice. As you can see, every dice 1 and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 times it goes, and every dice have a value 4, 2, 4, 2, 2, 5. I got 5, so it will not start, right? Now, so let me show you where I coded so this system is flex. Basically, it's a flex, and this much is 7:3 ratio, I guess. So basically what will happen is there's a card which is player red, this system, and then there is a dice space, as you can see. So basically I use provider because see, dice is re-rendering again and again, so we can't re-render the whole screen, right? I mean, if we render the whole screen, then the whole value will change, so we render this part only, this much, that's it. So to do that, I use providers. So as you can see here, we have a provider. Now this notifies, and uh, we wrap the whole thing with change notifier, and we use this dice model. So yeah, so that is it. And what we do here is we send, as you can see, we have two players. So we have to know which player played when. So this is player 1 and this is player 2. So when I play here, when the dice is rolled here, we send a value called player 1, and if we when we are sending the when we are playing this from here, we play the value we send the value player 2. Now, whatever player value we get, player 1 or player 2, and the dice value which we get at the last, we concatenate it and we send it to the dice value. So let me show you that how we actually send the value. So as you can see, you will see. So here, yeah, player 1 played 5. So this whole string which we will send into the dice value. Now what is dice value is basically this. I use the scope model also. I was experimenting around Flutter Web, so I used two things like scope model and providers also. So scope model, here in the game model, I basically whatever dice value we get, we store it, we set it here, and we all notify all the listeners. Sorry. Now after rolling the dice, we set the value, and we give this value to this game model gameplay function, and we call this function. So what will happen is gameplay will take a value, and this now as you can see, right? I mean, I send player 1 5, and if I will play here, I will get player 2, player 2 4. Now this is the string which will differentiate between two players. So if the value, this is a string, right? So if this string contains the player 1 string, then this is a player 1. If this value contains player 2, then this is player 2, or player orange. So let me show you. If player 1 plays, now the first logic will be, if initially if initially no one gets 1, they will not start the game. But if only a token can move in the initial game when it gets 1. So for that, I just use player a move. Player a move is basically this. This is a player model, and player model have this, and the initial value is 0. Now obviously this is like, this starts from 0. I changed it, like I gave +1, so +1 200, but here it starts with 0. So if it's at a 0 value, if it's initially, if it is at 0 value, then what we'll do is, here we take up the value, whichever value came from the dice roll, we pass it, and basically what we do here is, we just trim this value, and we get this value, the number. We only get the number so that we can have the dice number. Now we get that number from here. We basically pass it and convert into int. We pass, and if the and we store it into the temporary value. And if the temporary value is 1, then only we will move the player a move. Otherwise, we will not move it. We will just keep it at 0 only. So if it gets 1, if at any time it gets 1, then only it will start moving. So no one is getting 1, but yeah, so it got 1, and so it moved from here to here. Now what I did here is, I just moved it from as of 1 value plus equal to a temp is 1. Now I wait for 1 second, as I wait from here to here, and then I make player a true, and then I notify the listeners. And if the value, if now there's no 1, the player a move got a 1 value, right? The game is started. Now if the game is started, then what we do is, whatever value we get from the dice roll, what like okay, so whatever value we get from the dice roll, I got 2. So we just make it like, whatever value we got plus equal to this one. So we at player a move became 4. Now we know the same thing happens where we notify the listeners, and this is how actually the player moves. Now how, let me tell you how it's moving from here to here, or here to there. Like, this logic is here. So yeah, so basically this is everything is a card here, right? This if you see a 12th block is a card. Now I stack these tokens on this card. So as you can see, card is there, container, and then basically card. And here, as you can, sorry, here is a card, and then here is a stack. Now let me show you something. Let's comment this out and see what really happens. This is for player red. Now as you can see, the player red is everywhere. Basically what I do is, whatever value we get from player a move, which I told you, like here we get a player a move, whatever the value finally comes with the dice roll, we compare it to the index value. Index value is these, like this is a grid, right? Every square have an index value. So we compare it from the player move. If the index value is 3 4, and the player move is also 4, then only we will show the token. Otherwise we will show this sized box. So that's how everything, that's how we render the, yeah. So yeah, so that's how red and orange tokens. Now we have this token, we have the dice roll, And now what we will do here now, the next step will be, okay, so the next step will be basically if a ladder or if a snake will come, how we will go up the board or down the board. That's the second. That's the third step which we will do. So let me just get one. I don't think so. It will come that easy, but that's not coming. But yeah, so we got so one here. It moved. So let me tell you one thing. Now, suppose this situation that I want to give six as a ladder. Six will be our ladder. If the token will come to six, it will move to 28. So it will go from here to here, or 7 to 29, or anything. Like if the red token comes first at the 7, it will directly move from 7 to 29. Or if this red token goes to 27 and there's a snake, so at from 27 it will move from 9. So 27 to 9 there will be a snake, and 7 to 29 there will be a ladder. So how we build this? So first we write the logic that how we move from 7 to 29. So basically, let's show you player model. In player model, we basically what we do here is these are the ladder. So move player A. So if this is a player A, right? If this is a player A move, then if we reach six, if we reach six, so this is 0. So basically we have to reach 7. So if this is a 6, then we move to 28. So that is 7 to 29. So let me just, for your easy convenience, I will just remove this +1 from here for now. And let's see. Okay. So yeah, 0, 1, 2. So now I want to build a ladder from 6 to 28. Now here 6 to 28. So now move player A is basically a function which will like if the player A moves is in it, then we basically what we do here is we wait for 2 seconds, because I have to show that it's actually moving up. So we wait for 2 seconds, and then whatever the final value is, like 628. So 6 is the uh, pair a value. If it is 6, then only what we do here is we player A value gets the value of final value, that is 28. So it moves from 6 to 28. That is the ladder, and again that the same works for snakes. So basically if there is a snake player, the snake move, then it will move from 37 to 4. So if the player A goes to 37, then it will come to 4. So 37 to 4. So 30, if it is the value of 37, then it will come to 4. So it's pretty easy, that the whole this logic, the moving up and moving down, as you can see. Now my this fourth step will be, which was a little bit difficult, or you can say it was quite a learning phase. So let me just go to 6, or if it can go to 6, I don't know. Mm, okay. Went to 4. Now 6, and then so you saw, right, 6 to 28, it moved from in 2 seconds, it went from 6 to 28. Now what I want to do here now is I want to draw a line between 6 to 28, right? This is just a plain board. Now I want to actually draw snakes and ladders between all the movings. So if I'm going from 6 to 28, I am going to show a gray line, so that it will be a ladder. Or if it is coming from 36 to 8, it will be a basically it will be a red line, which will be a snake. So how how I did that is basically, yeah. So basically what I do here is, let me just go to that card. So yeah, so this card, now I told this before also, this is a card, right? 19th card, 18 card. No, let's take a sixth, the sixth card. This is the sixth card. So what I basically do here is I assign each and every card a unique ID, basically a global key to each and every square which you see here. So key list of index, whatever index 0, 1, 2, 3. So I generate this list from here, list of dot generate, and we generate a global key for all the 100 squares. So each and every square have a global key now from here. So this list contains all the 100 global keys. Now add post framework call, as like after building the UI, I just take out each and every point. Now let me show you the points. Now these are the points, basically P1, P2, P3. All the points are there. We have 40 basically I drew like 7 or 8 ladders and 7 and 8 or 8 snakes. So if P1, so this is the P1. P1 is, let's take 6 to 28. So 6 is the P1 and 28 will be our P2. So what I give, I made this function and I pass 6 as initial value, and the list. This list is basically that the global key, all the global keys. So let me just go to this function and I will show this is basically the square index which I got, and this is the global key index, global key list. So list 99 minus square index, that is 6. So basically this is the global key of the sixth square. This is the global key for this square. So now this square dot current context and on find render object, I got the render box from here, and from that render box I calculated the offset position. So I got the position here. Now let me just print it so you can see how I got the offset value for each and every points. So yeah, this is it. So as you can see, all the values which you can, like 75, 79 is the, or 210 and 79 is the, this value, this offset value. Now I got, so basically here, as you can see, I got this 6 and 28 P1, P2 points offset values. So I got the exact position of sixth value and 28th value from the grid. So if I have 2 points, I can draw between them, right? That's pretty simple. I can draw a line between 6 to 28 if I get a offset point of the sixth position and 28th position. Now, how I do that here is basically I call this ladders render function. Ladders render function is we take the sorry, ladder points A, basically as you can see here, ladders point A, P1, P3. So this is just a game logic, and we add this custom painter. Custom painter basically draw lines, or you can draw arc or anything, whatever you want, and this is the ladder painter for me. So this, and I send ladder points A, ladder points B, that is 6 and 28. So let me go to the ladder painter. Ladder painter basically takes up the point, and it draw a line in the canvas from the dx and dy of the points which I passed. Now point origin and px is just some calculation to just shift the lines in the middle or something like that. Now same goes with the snake. Same goes with the snake. Exact same method. Now ladder painter and a snake painter. We get the points. We get the points and we get the offset value of those points, the position, and we draw the line between them. And we got all the widgets, all the custom painter widgets in these widgets, and we just use spread operator, and we will be good to go. Now we have snake ladder children's and snake children's, and let's restart the game. And as you can see, yeah, so we got the snakes and ladders. So yeah, that was it, I guess. Yeah, I pretty much explained everything. Like the all these things are just there to decorate it, but that was the main thing. That was the main uh, area. So now, okay, so that's all from my side. So my next milestone is let me talk about this. My next milestone, what I want to achieve with this game is make this game a deterministic game. So it's pretty obvious that it is an undetermined, a non-deterministic game, right? It depends on the randomness of this dice. Whatever random number we get, we move the token from one position to another position. But how we can make this whole undeterministic non-deterministic game to a deterministic game is we can if we can predict the dice value beforehand, like before rolling the dice. If we know what random number will come, then the whole game will convert itself into a deterministic game. So this is called like seeded random number. There is a concept called seeded random number from which you can predict the random number. So I'm trying this in my next step. So if anyone wants to help or talk about this, ping me on the Twitter. And yeah, that's about it. That's what I want to uh, achieve with this game. And so yeah, thank you. And so please get in touch with me. This is my Twitter ID.